Remember when everyone was excited about that new show, Secret Invasion, they announced? Well, didn't turn out that great. The other way around, the fandom responded in horror when they announced a show about Agatha Harkness of all people. We don't need that, was the general vibe. Turns out, Agatha all along was one of the best things the MCU ever delivered. Wonder Man? I think it falls straight into that Agatha category. This is the review of champions, and I'm your host, Grandmaster. With me is a powerful panel made up of the finest champions Sakar has to offer. Let me introduce them to you. Voice only, we have Lokismom. How are you?
Doing really well, but I am snowed in. It's like 17 degrees Fahrenheit here, and the snow's just up to my knees.
Oh, I hope you have your socks on then. And on
I don't.
camera, we have Merv. How are you, man?
I'm good. A little stuffed up, but other than that, ready to go.
Yeah, and for men, it's not the way to go to talk about inches. Anyway, uh, today we're going to talk about the new Marvel Disney Plus show, Wonder Man. They dropped all episodes earlier this week, and we saw them, and we want to discuss them. But before we do that, I want to ask you all to help us out. Like and share this video, subscribe to our channel, and join our ranks at sakar.freeforms.net. Just set up an account. And how can you do that? Well, click on the link in the description below. Uh, it takes you straight to the set up an account page, and then you are a member of Sakar. You can join the conversation, and if you are willing, you can even join our show. We would love it if you do that. Wonder Man. It's a show about a struggling actor called Simon Williams. He accidentally meets Trevor Slattery, a returning MCU character we all love for all the work he's done in the MCU so far, and they become friends while they try to get casted into a remake of an 80s classic called Wonder Man. Confusing, dull, I don't know. I leave that up to the champions. And I start with you, Murph. You saw the whole show, of course. Can I get some quick impressions about this show?
Yeah, I first things first. I know very little of the Wonder Man character from the comics. Any of the comics that I had read, he was a fringe character in or a background character that didn't really play a part in the main story. So I was coming into the show pretty blind as far as like what to expect, what this character was like, what all this stuff feels new to me. And I thoroughly enjoyed it. I thought it was a totally different kind of show than I guess the classic MCU cookie cutter superhero stuff that you expect out of a show. I feel like I've said that before, but I do think like this clearly is a stray from most of the standard superhero affair. Like there isn't even really a villain in this. You know what I mean? So I really enjoyed it for what it was, and really let it reel me in without any expectation whatsoever. So I thought it was great, particularly the two lead characters in Simon and Trevor. I thought they just hit it out of the park, and that really drew me into everything that they were doing. So yeah, I really enjoyed this show.
Hmm. Locust Mom, did you enjoy the show?
I did. I was just like Merv. I wasn't didn't really know what to expect. I hadn't read anything on it, and leading up to it, the only thing I knew that I actually I didn't even know that Ben Kingsley was going to be in the series also until probably just a couple months ago. So that was a big plus for me as far as wanting to see it. But otherwise, yeah, like Merv said, it was different. I think this was more like a buddy comedy and not an action show per se. I mean, there was a little bit of action in it, but it was kind of thinned out and done more for comedy effect and whatnot. But yeah, but the chemistry between Kingsley and Abdul Mateen, I thought was just really good. He was great. That I had never seen Yahya Abdul Mateen before, but I was really impressed with him and really like him in this part, and hopefully see him some more in the MCU going forward.
Yeah, I actually totally agree with you guys. I thought it was an excellent show. I really enjoyed it. I watched it today during my daytime, and I binged it in one go. And I actually, yeah, I really want to see more of this character, Wonder Man, Simon Williams. He was very interesting. And I agree with what Loki's mom said. The chemistry between Ben Kingsley and Abdul Kareem was great, and yeah, I laughed a lot. There was a lot of subtle jokes in it, and I really liked it. Too bad Taylor can't join us because probably he would have picked it apart with all kind of movie references and
Yeah.
stuff like that. But yeah, he can't make it today, so. But Loki's mom, if you had to criticize Wonder Man, and we're going to review the whole show as a whole, like it's a movie,
Hmm.
do you have any negatives about the show?
Well, I think, yeah, I think the lack of action probably is the most glaring. Not that what we didn't get wasn't okay, but this is comic books, and you sort of expect a little bit more of it. I think they could have certainly worked it in and worked some scenes in. I understand this was another uh, project that got interrupted, I think, by the writer's strike this time. So it sat on a shelf and sat there, and finally they got it out and stitched it together and put out a pretty good product. Really, I mean, they don't have anything to be ashamed of, but really, I think they kind of lost some opportunities as far as doing some really good action scenes and just liven it up a little bit more. Sometimes it would there was I would just keep come on, pick up your cues. Don't do they just be standing there, maybe not doing anything or not even saying anything. So yeah, that was kind of the only negative I have on it as far as the writing, the acting, of course, and the story. I think everything was pretty good. I can't really think of any other criticisms on it. One though that it kind of stuck out at me was now Trevor Slattery. When we saw him in what was it, Iron Man 3 is where he made his first appearance. He's don't he comes on screen and nobody thinks they think he's the Mandarin. Of course, he has his voice change and he wears sunglasses and all that. But come to find out, Trevor Slattery was actually sort of had a fairly good career before he got hooked up with uh, AIM. I guess it was the people
Hmm.
there that was doing that whole Mandarin hoax. But why wouldn't they have recognized in Iron Man? If Why wouldn't they have recognized him sooner? That's what I'm asking. Because he was on a TV show for 3 years with Joe Pantoliano. So,
Mm. Yeah, well,
but
I
anyway,
guess
that's neither here nor there. That's not really against Iron Man or anything like that. It's just I think that's just I guess we were supposed to that nobody recognized him when he had the sunglasses on type deal.
yeah, hypnotic sunglasses.
Yeah.
He's like Superman. Trevor Slattery is your Marvel Superman, I guess. No, but you have a very good point actually, because they make him. He was in so much, and then nobody knew who he was. Well,
Right.
maybe he has just one of those faces, I guess. Like,
He's that good of an actor.
yeah, incredible. Well, actually, Ben Kingsley is that good of an actor. So
Absolutely.
if
Absolutely.
somebody could pull it off, it's him. But any particular highlights for you?
Well, I think the comedy, I think some of the references were really good. They actually did bring up, because they were going back and forth between doing production work and then, of course, the superhero type story. But then when they would go back into the studio and they would have little jokes and whatnot. And one of them, they actually made reference to the writer's strike. And it's just little things like that, little self-referential put downs and things. I thought was really entertaining. One scene in particular, I think when finally, of course, he's doing it to try to save Simon, but he dons the Mandarin uh, persona again, and he says, "America, for too long you've let Hollywood rule your reality, something to that effect. And I thought, okay, spot on. Yeah, and I'm actually looking at the scene right now. Alan Dulles, the newly appointed, claimed the Soviets had engaged in a new type of combat with America. So yeah, I really enjoyed
Merv,
that.
I
Thank
don't
you
know
so
about you,
much.
but maybe Loki's mom is the Mandarin. I don't know.
That sounded pretty spot
Who
on, I'll be
knows?
Yeah,
honest.
actually, yes. So, but anyway, continue. Sorry, I interrupted you before
No,
you took a
yeah,
joke.
that's fine. But yeah, that to me is just like I say. I'm looking at the scene right now, and it's really well done. And of course, he's that. I loved how Ben Kingsley changes his voice up. I'm not sure what type of American accent he's using, but he goes from his more uh, British accent to that Mandarin accent. So I thought that was really funny.
Mm. Yeah, I'm not trying to steal your thunder, Murph, but my particular highlight was the dream Simon Williams had in the house during the callback. That I actually stood up from my seat, which I hardly ever do because I'm old and fat and don't move that fast. But I actually stood up and I was like WTF is happening here? But then it turned out to be a dream. Well, it's better than Patrick Duffy, I guess. Murph, do you have any criticisms about Wonder Man season one? I hope.
Yeah, just before I do that, I'll piggyback. Because I don't know the character, and because they were so nondescript with what exactly his powers are, I still, even after this show, don't really fully understand what his powers are. I thought that really happened. I was like, did he just turn him into like sand or something and then punch
Yeah,
his face out? So I was with you, like shock, and then I was like, this. He's gonna go to jail for murder. Like, what is going on here? But yeah, as far as criticisms, the one big one that sticks out to me um, is episode 4, which was the flashback to Doorman
Hmm.
for the entirety of the episode. And I don't hate that we got that because we got references to it. Um, and it's like the question of what is this? It has something to do with superpowered actors, but we don't really know the context of it. So it explained all that context and gives us another character from comics, the Doorman character. I don't who another one I don't really know much about, but through this I'm looking up these characters that I'd never heard of. But I just felt it was like a bit of a sidetrack a little early in the story. Whenever I'm still like trying to get involved with the main characters and the main plot, and then we have a full episode of just this backstory about a character that we never see again. But it's just for the context of the situation, why Simon is so worried about this, and why he's
Hmm.
particularly right now not talking about his superpowers. Obviously, there's a lot of issues with that, I'm sure, on a personal level for him. But I just felt like it was such a sidetrack at the time that like I just wanted more Simon and Trevor. I wanted to see where that story was going. I was having fun with their relationship and their buddy. I'm gonna say buddy cop, but it's not a buddy cop. It's just like a clear connection on a friendship level for their same passion that you felt, even though Trevor was being deceptive and stuff, you could tell that like those two characters really clicked, and I thought the actors portraying those characters really nailed that home throughout every episode. So that felt like the biggest like draw for me. Like during that episode, I kept waiting for us to cut back to uh, Simon and Trevor, and then before you knew it, the episode was over, and we did right at the end, but like it was just as a closure to the episode, and I thought
Hmm.
I wish I had got a little bit more at that point. Obviously, there was like 4 more episodes left,
Hmm.
but that's
Speaking
really the biggest.
Yeah,
Good.
speaking of that episode, I thought it actually was a little bit meta that Josh Gad disappeared during that episode because basically
hmm
he has disappeared.
yeah.
Is that real, or I thought that was just a gag that they did to try to promote this?
No,
I
he's
don't
No,
know.
Josh Gad is still in inside of
no,
Doorman.
but I mean, yeah, I remember seeing him in the Beauty and the Beast live remake, and after that, I don't really remember seeing him in
Yeah.
anything. Not even in Cash Grab 1 or 2.
Yeah, I don't know where
But
he's at. Somewhere, probably with water is my guess, which
Okay.
is kind of a scary thought.
that I think the whole point, and it may have been just a little too long, but the whole point of the doorman was the reason Simon had to be in the closet was because you couldn't get work as an actor because it was the doorman
Right.
clause. Anybody with
Mhm.
superhero powers cannot be in a Hollywood production or something.
Yeah. And like
Yeah.
I didn't. It's not that I hated it or anything like that. It was just at the time that it was, which was on the front half of the season. I was
Mhm.
really starting to grow attached to these characters and
Mhm.
wanted more of those characters as opposed to like this sidebar mission with
Mhm.
some other character in a black and white that I had never even really considered.
I
Um,
agree because
but
usually you get this episode in episode 6 or 7 in a
yeah,
show like of this length, and now you got it in episode 4.
Well, they could have
yeah, like
done the
yeah.
whole
I'm sorry.
point is I'm sorry, but yeah, they could have made the point that that why Simon had to keep himself hidden in a much shorter period of time. I mean, like maybe a 10-minute segue into the doorman story would have been just as well. But even so, it was kind of funny. It was a funny episode. It went with the rest of it. Or let's put it so, it didn't slow it down or anything like that or trip it up too much. It
No,
No, no.
I actually enjoyed the episode itself for
mhm.
what it
Yeah,
was.
Yeah.
But ding dong,
Yep.
Murph.
yeah, yeah,
Any particular
yeah.
highlights in the Wonder Man show for you?
Oh yeah. I mean, we've already been talking about the chemistry between. I'm gonna butcher his name. Abdul Mateen and Ben Kingsley was phenomenal. Abdul
Hmm.
Mateen, by the way, you might have seen him before and not realized it, but he was Black Manta in the Aquaman movies that came out a couple years ago.
Okay. I haven't.
Um, if anybody watched those,
Not me. I haven't
and
seen them.
he was in the movie Us by uh, Jordan Peele, and
Okay.
he was also in the newer Candyman film. So he's been pretty prominent in some films in the last like several years. But I thought he was great here as well. Like he's good in all those things too, but I thought he was great here. And Ben Kingsley, you might remember from pretty much everything.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I do.
So, one real highlight. I am a huge fan of Joe Pantoliano. So even stuff like I was a kid when Baby's Day Out came out, and I watched that movie a million times because I have younger siblings. And it's not bad. It's not a bad movie. I don't care what Simon says. It's pretty entertaining, especially if you're a kid. But I've liked Joe Pantoliano for years, probably ever since The Goonies, honestly. Now that I think about it.
Mm-hmm.
So I didn't realize he was going to be in this as an exaggerated, I hope exaggerated, fictionalized character of himself, who is kind of a jerk, but like also not kind of a jerk. Like he's just eccentric for Hollywood or whatever.
Well,
But
he's actually,
I like that.
he's being honest with Trevor. Trevor remembers that
Yeah,
Joe still is, worked against him, and he was saying, "No, it was you. It was you all along. Your addiction is what destroyed your career."
yeah,
Yeah, but
yeah,
and
it's
then
so
and
good
then
because it's
takes the part
typical
in
junkie
the Wonder
behavior
Man
to
movie.
deny it. Mm.
I'm sorry. Go
Sorry,
ahead.
yeah. 1-3, 1-2-3. No, yeah. I really like Joe Pantoliano. So yeah, I liked his character in this, and even though the main characters didn't, I still enjoyed him. And then the other thing, like the the build up to the reveal of betrayal from Ben Kingsley to Simon, because we realized over the course of the episodes how closed off and how reserved Simon really is with people. The fact that he almost immediately lets Trevor in, and you can see like the hints of it, like this is going to devastate him, this is going to devastate him throughout the entire thing when he
Mm-hmm.
realizes that you're betraying him essentially. That payoff was super satisfying. He obviously destroyed like an entire production set or whatever, but like just knowing that was coming, and that like trickle feed of like, oh, this is going to be bad, this is going to be bad, and then having it actually be pretty bad was good. Was very good. So yeah, this as far as like a character journey for mainly these two characters in this kind of goofy environment. And as like if this is what the MCU TV shows are going to be, where it's kind of like backdoor origin stories for a variety of characters that probably wouldn't be popular enough to support their own film, I'm okay with it as long as we know that, like, maybe this character might show up in the future, might not. I don't know, how it all ties into everything, but I don't know that we need to know that right now. I just enjoyed this one for what it was. So,
Yeah, you say origin story, but was it?
yeah, I mean, I guess introduction story rather than
Yeah,
we don't really, I still, like I said, I still don't really know what Simon's powers exactly are or how he got them.
uh,
We don't even
from
see much of his childhood outside of his love for film, or
Hmm.
mainly the Wonder Man film. But even that, we don't even know. Do we know how his dad died? Like, I don't even know that we know that.
well, his love for film and his love for burning down kitchens.
Yes,
But
yes,
no, no, I think his powers in the MCU at least are he can use and harness ionized particles or something like that, whatever. But as it turns out, he can fly. So
Yeah.
and he doesn't need a lasso to catch lightning. So, but anyway,
right.
yeah,
Yeah, he
that's a
has
Wonder Woman reference, by the way. But anyway, uh, um, uh, what I hear is actually we find the show quite good. So, for my question for you is: are you surprised that actually Disney Marvel Studios were very held back or low on their marketing and for this show? They did some YouTube advertising, but we got hardly a trailer and a half. I mean, um, I thought it was very low on the marketing. Are you surprised by that? Because if I had a product like this, I would scream it off a rooftop. You agree, Murph?
Oh, yeah. I thought it was really quiet. Like, I remember being surprised at how soon it was coming out. Like, a couple of weeks ago or whatever. I was like, oh, it's the Wonder Man's already coming out. I feel like I don't know anything about it. I haven't heard anything about it. Now, granted, I don't even think I watched the trailer for it wherever you could even find it, because I think I was okay going into it like totally cold and not really being primed for whatever kind of show this was going to be. I don't know why. Maybe that was just a me choice, like subconsciously or whatever. But yeah, I do think it's kind of weird how they, and I dare say maybe they get it wrong, which movies and TV shows that they think audiences will like and which ones they don't realize audiences will love. Um, which wouldn't surprise me at all if they don't quite have their finger on the pulse. But the fact that they made this show obviously shows that you know somebody there understands. I guess quality over quantity, and maybe they are writing the ship. I don't know, but yeah, I did think it was surprising how quiet this really was for an MCU show.
Yeah, how much I enjoyed binging it, but if they had stretched this with, let's say, two episodes per week or over a course of 5 6 weeks, what they usually do, I think they would get a much bigger audience because people will catch on and they will talk about it. And now it's like, okay, we made this thing, we hardly advertise it, we dump it on Disney Plus, and hope for the best. And then actually the reviews and the audience reception is actually great. Loki's mom, what's
Hmm.
going on at Disney and Marvel?
Yeah, I don't know. I was. You're right. They really were low keyed it. And speaking of Loki,
Yeah, yeah, nice. Oh,
you know that one thing that I'll add this because I kind of noticed it throughout the series. Um, Simon's very meticulous. I mean, he just really works hard and he researches it and he goes into such detail and he will go spend time with with characters, people he thinks he can learn something from to improve his craft, improve his role that he's playing. And I've kind of read that Tom Hiddleston's sort of that way. He can. They were actually. I think there was an article came out when he was doing the first Loki series that they were calling him Professor Loki because he was explaining to all the cast members well who Loki was and all that, and, and kind of and actually had like little classes for people. So, and Tom Hiddleston's such a nerd, so I love that
Hmm.
that he kind of maybe a little bit of a dig at him with that. But yeah, as far as the marketing, you're right. I don't know why they didn't ballyhoo it a little bit more. Maybe they it's because they felt, well, if we do that, and then the fans are going to come back, like they did with Secret Invasion and a few of the other series have just tanked. And whereas this one, yeah, this series stands right up there with all the better TV shows. I mean, I would watch it again happily. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
I wouldn't put
so
it
I don't know what they're
above.
doing. Maybe that's what they're going to be doing with their TV shows going forward. Just maybe just put them out there. Just let it find an audience, and uh, that way nobody gets mad at anybody.
Hmm.
Says you
Yeah,
betrayed me, and this is not
mhm.
what you said it was going to be, and that type of stuff.
Yeah. But I wouldn't put it above things like Loki or Agatha All Along or WandaVision, but I would put it at the tier right below that. Like it's enjoyable, it's good. It's like Miss
Hmm.
Marvel. It's actually quite good, but it's not so it's not
Yeah,
perfect,
yeah,
but
it's
it's
it's like
yeah.
right around Falcon and Winter Soldier level,
Yeah,
I think.
something like
Yeah.
that. Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Speaking of ranking and tiers and whatever, let's do a rating for Wonder Man season one. We hope. I'm gonna start with you, Loki's mom.
Well, I'm going to give this 7.5 ding dongs.
Okay, Murph. Uh, I'm
Yeah,
gonna even ask you, what's your number?
yeah, yeah. Real quick, I just want to say I meant to mention it earlier. I appreciated like the somewhat inside look at like the process that an actor might go through. I'm not an actor, so if it's an exaggerated, totally wrong process that I'm seeing, I don't know. But it reminded me a lot of a scene in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood with Leonardo DiCaprio, where like you kind of see the way that this brilliance comes out of
Hmm.
somebody who
Yeah.
is pretending to be somebody else, and I really just like that kind of meta, an actor portraying an actor, going through this scene aspect to this show, to both Simon and Trevor at times, and even other characters like whenever they were in the rich guy's house or the director's house.
Hmm.
Um, I'll give this an 8 out of 10. I thought it was really good, really fun, and again, I would easily watch it again or watch a Wonder Man 2 if it came out next year or something like that. I would have no issue seeing this character again. I hope we do see this character again because I think
Hmm.
the actor's great, and I think I really like the vibes that this character gives
Yeah.
off. I
Yeah.
feel like he's really
I can see a season two with this.
original.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm gonna go with Murph. I'm gonna go give this an 8 out of 10. I really enjoyed myself. It was great fun. It was good, well written, well acted. Um, yeah, the lack of action there. What you expect in a superhero show, which is essentially still is. Um, deduct some points for me, but 8 out of 10 for me as well. So yeah.
Yeah, that
Um,
last scene should have been the payoff. Really spectacular, over the top, but it was kind of fizzled out.
yeah, but maybe Wonder Man, aka Simon Williams, is so strong they never stood a chance. Well,
Yep,
yeah, yeah,
he did him a favor.
yeah. Well, that will conclude our review of Wonder Man. We hope you have enjoyed our discussion today. If you did, you can help us out. Like and share this review and subscribe to our YouTube channel. And if you really want more of us, you can join our forum at Sacar.freeforums.net. We would love it if you do that. Soon we will be dropping, I think next week, episode 23 of the Star Trek Project, where we will be discussing Star Trek Deep Space Nine Season 2. And also a brand new episode in our Infinity Saga series will be dropping on our channel. That's about Captain America, the Winter Soldier. for now, I want to thank you all, also on behalf of my fellow champions, and wish you to be safe and be well. Bye.